Our top stories, punches thrown. Emirates says London Heathrow is incompetent. Guys, get the popcorn out. Are you flying through Heathrow this summer? Because Emirates has your back. Basically, what's happened in the last couple of days, London Heathrow announced they wanted to limit passengers flying through their airport this summer in peak travel periods. And basically, Emirates isn't having it. London Heathrow announced an unprecedented flight cap on the number of passengers to come through per day.
Now, the airport demanded airlines reduce their passengers and gave airlines just 36 hours to comply. In total, the cap would limit passenger traffic to 100,000 per day, which according to Emirates represents a 50% plus daily passenger at the airport. Now, Emirates rejects this demand and gave us a glimmer of what goes on behind the scenes in a strongly worded press release.
Have you read it? I would get on to Lovin Dubai now because we can't go through all of it. But in terms of like behind the scenes, we're seeing start, middle and end of what happened. London Heathrow gave this announcement. So imagine an airport has, I'm going to make up a number, 1 million capacity. They've effectively cut that to 500,000 and they've given airlines 36 hours to comply. And after that 36 hours, they say they're going to take legal action. Emirates rejects this. Emirates is calling them incompetent. Emirates is basically saying they've plucked this figure out of thin air. They use these words. They said their communications not only dictated specific flights, and that we should, they said we should start throwing out passengers, and they've threatened legal action for non-compliance.
I mean, I don't see where Emirates is wrong with this. It's just like I'm surprised, first of all, that they are calling out Heathrow Airport, but all their points are so valid. Like, for example, basically, so in their statement, they wrote at London Heathrow Airport, our ground handling and catering staff run by Donata, part of the Emirates group, are fully ready and capable of handling our flights. So the crux of the issue lies with the central services and systems which are the responsibility of the airport operator. So blatantly saying like our people are competent for this, they're well equipped to handle the passenger traffic, but the airport staff isn't. The central airport operations just is not able to handle it. So you guys need to figure that out and not put it on the airlines.
Exactly. So they're saying we can handle it. They're also saying the signs for a busy travel period have been there. So what Emirates have been doing, they've been training pilots, they've been hiring. We saw the signals from Emirates in the last 2 months. They issued a statement, we talked about it yesterday, being like, book your flights because it's going to get busy.
Exactly.
They literally issued a statement to the public announcing this. And then they're basically saying London Heathrow is incompetent. They didn't choose to invest in time and now they're throwing it back on us. And they've also, what they've done in their statement, they've tugged on the heartstrings a little bit because obviously we're all traveling home. Maybe it's the first time you've been doing kind of the big long haul travel this summer via the UK, maybe not stopping in the UK, but you could be going onward bound or whatever. And they're basically saying, how could we possibly arrange this complex intricacy of pulling all of these flights? And then also all these people who've booked months in advance, how could we possibly do that?
That's so true. And I mean, I would say, both parties concerned need to, see where this went wrong, that went wrong. But in this, it's kind of, I mean, of course, like Emirates said, like you said, they had all this time. They knew well in advance what was coming, what was ahead of them for the summer holidays. The traffic they would expect, that too with people just wanting to come down, see family, visit, tourism, all of that. So it's something that should have been prepared for well in advance, which it wasn't.
Well, what Heathrow has said is that they had apparently looked to airlines to make a plan. I don't have the full details of it was contracts or what was asked, or if they got together in a room, maybe had some lunch, let's make a plan, guys, who knows what happened. But they said they looked to airlines to make a plan over the last couple of months. Nothing concrete was formed, and now it's led to this. 36 hours to comply, that's the crazy, that shows lack of planning.
Very true.
If Heathrow is freaking out, one of the world's busiest airports is freaking out, don't give airlines 36 hours to comply with that, considering the complexity of the situation. Emirates, there's a lot going on behind the scenes in terms of managing, but they just said it's adding to the capacity. 70% of our customers are going beyond. It's not just moving one person's flights. It's it would be changing the whole system, and it would just be impossible. They're rejecting it. They're saying no. They're saying their flights are going to continue. So it will be very, very interesting to see how this plays out.
I am worried for the passengers. I just hope, like, you know how Heathrow has been having so many issues in the last couple of weeks, like passengers getting stuck, like baggage issues, all of that. So I just hope it's not another thing for passengers. Like, okay, fine, our flight made it, and now what? Like, you know, but I am sure they'll have to like plan for hours and hours of waiting at the airport, because even when it's not peak period at Heathrow, you still have to wait for hours just at immigration itself. So, I mean, maybe you haven't faced that, but us normal people have.
Well, the reason Heathrow made this shock announcement was because they said that since post-COVID, there was due to staff shortages, the service levels were going down, so queues were getting bigger, so they had to introduce this. But Emirates is like, well, we got our ducks in order, why couldn't you? And they've gone even further, and they're like, shareholders, scrutinize this decision because we are one of your, you know, in general, it's gonna mess up the friendship. But obviously, one of the world's biggest and best airlines, one of the world's busiest airports. Let's see.
Oh, let's see how this plays out. Like Casey said.